Final Destination 5 might never be hailed as the greatest entry in the franchise, but it pulled a huge twist in its final moments. Except a sneaky piece of paper gave it away 40 minutes in. You never know what you might miss when you're caught up watching bodies drop. By now, everyone knows about the twist in The Sixth Sense. In 1999, however, M. Night Shyamalan's Spookfest caught everyone off guard with its story of a boy who has a terrifying gift.
I see dead people.
Wisely, the advertising revolved around this plot point, allowing Shyamalan to hide the film's biggest twist in plain sight. At the end of The Sixth Sense, we discover that Dr. Malcolm Crowe died after sustaining a gunshot wound in the prologue. Various clues linger throughout the picture, some subtle, others not so much. During the famous I See Dead People scene in which Cole reveals his secret, he explains that these ghosts don't know they're dead. And the camera immediately cuts to Malcolm. He doesn't know he's dead, you see? Nobody catches this on the first viewing, but the brief cut is a sly clue to the big twist on subsequent watches. There are other moments as well, namely that no one other than Cole ever interacts with Malcolm. Midway through the film, Malcolm meets his wife Anna for dinner, and she ignores him throughout. Shyamalan frames the scene as if her anger stems from his delay, but in reality, she can't see him. Instead, she finishes her drink and quietly whispers, "Happy anniversary," before leaving the restaurant. Oh, and pay attention to the color red as it foreshadows Malcolm's condition. Friday the 13th too often gets lost among the formulaic sequels spurred by its success. For all its low-budget tricks, the original slasher featured a fun little mystery that built towards a shocking ending. After all the mumbo-jumbo about Jason Voorhees, the killer turns out to be sweet old Pamela Voorhees, knitted sweater and all. She was the mysterious person running around setting traps and killing full-grown men without breaking a sweat or being seen. Who saw that twist coming? Not many. If you were too captivated by the shocking deaths to wonder about the killer's identity, you weren't alone. But the twist might not have been a surprise if you'd paid attention to the soundtrack. Composer Harry Manfredini sneaks a nifty spoiler into his novel score, giving away the ending. He created a signature ki-ki-ki, ma-ma-ma sound from a critical moment in the film.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her.
Sure, Manfredini distorts the line enough to cover the dialogue, but the sound remains a finely tuned clue warning viewers to prepare for a very angry mommy. The Conjuring is this generation's poltergeist, a ghost story scary enough to hold your attention but light enough to warrant multiple viewings. There are small tidbits throughout the entire series that viewers can pick up on with each viewing. But in The Conjuring 2, director James Wan places the name of the demon Valak for all to see, provided you look hard enough. Knowing the demon's name is essential to stopping it, and curiously, heroes Ed and Lorraine Warren miss this obvious detail even when it's right there in broad daylight. In fact, the name can be spotted in 3 separate shots. First, after Ed reveals his painting of the nun, he and his wife talk in the kitchen. Right behind Lorraine on the kitchen wall hangs a heart with a very pronounced V. Underneath the heart, the letters A-L-A-K appear on a wood panel. In the same scene, we cut to Ed sitting in front of a window adorned with colorful decorations that, you guessed it, spell out the name Valak. Later, Lorraine's daughter makes friendship bracelets that, upon closer inspection, likewise reveal the demon's name. Another shot shows the word spelled out on a bookshelf behind Lorraine. Imagine how much time the Warrens could have saved had they paid more attention to their surroundings. Psycho stands as one of the greats, an exciting exercise in terror that influenced a generation of filmmakers. Even if you already know the legendary twist, that Norman Bates shares his mind with his long-deceased murderous mother, there's still plenty to admire here. From Alfred Hitchcock's incredible direction to Bernard Herrmann's classic score and Anthony Perkins' star-making performance, everything about Psycho screams classic. Now, Hitchcock was quite the mad genius, often packing his pictures with sly humor or dark details hinting at unseen elements lingering off-screen. With Psycho, he teased unsuspecting audiences with carefully worded lines that point straight to the ending for those paying attention. As revealed in the final moments of the film, Norman's mother died years prior. Her decaying corpse sits in front of a window overlooking the Bates Motel. Norman's personality shifts from a meek, humble man to a violent killer on the turn of a dime. Neither knows what the other is doing. Norman and Mother are essentially 2 different people. But during a conversation early in the movie with the doomed Marion Crane, Norman hints at his mother's current state.
But she's harmless. She's as harmless as one of those stuffed birds.
Indeed, his mother is dead, her corpse frozen like a stuffed animal, a very on-the-nose primer for the madness to come. It's hard to tell if the Scream movies are smart with their foreshadowing or just incredibly lazy. The filmmakers provide so many vague details about the killer's identity that Ghostface could feasibly be anyone. and enough evidence would exist to justify the reveal. Still, in 2022's Scream, directors Matt Bettinelli-Olpin and Tyler Gillette tipped their hand by having everyone's favorite underdog, Dewey Riley, named the killer, or at least one of the killers, in an early conversation with Sam and Richie.
Never trust the love interest. They seem sweet, caring, supportive, and then welcome to Act 3 where they're trying to rip your head off.
Dewey speaks from experience, having watched his friend Sydney survive attacks from boyfriends in the previous films, and his warning is spot on. Richie is caring and supportive, deceptively so, but turns out to be one half of a killer combo yearning to recreate the Woodsboro murders. Sadly, Dewey becomes one of Ghostface's victims when he doesn't heed his own advice. With Final Destination, what started as a relatively low-budget slasher evolved into an entertaining, overtly morbid horror series featuring an abundance of death traps that are more clever than they had any right to be. The gist? In each film, a group of individuals evades death, thus angering the Grim Reaper, who subsequently creates elaborate scenarios to kill off the survivors.
The lucky few survive the disaster, and then one by one, death comes for them all.
Final Destination 5 opens with Sam and Molly, among others, surviving a bridge catastrophe following a well-timed premonition. Death comes knocking and executes the survivors one by one until only Sam and Molly remain. To celebrate, they board a plane to Paris and see Carter and Alex, two characters from the original Final Destination, arguing, realizing all too late that they're doomed to die in an explosion shortly after takeoff. So, the twist is that Final Destination 5 is a prequel to the first film, something viewers might miss unless they're paying close attention. See, the fifth film never explicitly states the date. Instead, small clues pop up here and there, notably that Sam wants to take a restaurant internship in Paris. You might also hear music from the early 2000s played over the radio and note the dated car models. There's even a brief shot of a gift certificate with a 2001 expiration date. Everyone needs to see Hereditary at least once. Ari Aster's bonkers horror drama doesn't hold back and pummels the viewer with some of the grisliest, freakiest, and downright horrifying visuals ever committed to film. For those who have seen it, you know that the film revolves around a satanic cult's efforts to bring the demon Payman into the world. Doing so requires many beheadings, ancient rituals, and a healthy supply of pantsless older people. At the conclusion, Mom, Annie, succumbs to her grief and becomes possessed, chasing her son Peter until he eventually kills himself. Then, he rises and follows his mother's headless floating corpse into her treehouse, where the evil cult worships him as Payman in the flesh. It's weird. Great, but weird. Aster teases the finale early on by having Charlie, Annie's troubled daughter and Payman's current corporeal host, chop off bird heads, a foreshadowing of the terrible fate that awaits both of them. A mysterious symbol also appears throughout on necklaces worn by Annie and her mother, carved into the post alongside of the road that eventually kills Charlie, and hanging around Annie's friend Joan's house, among other places. Wes Craven's love letter to the slasher genre, 1996's Scream still holds up, despite its propensity for pop culture references and a never-ending assembly line of often bland sequels. The film follows Sidney Prescott as she tries to solve a series of gruesome murders around her quaint little town. Expertly crafted set pieces poke fun at the genre while treading new ground.
There are certain rules that one must abide by in order to successfully survive a horror movie.
Ultimately, Sidney's boyfriend Billy and his pal Stu are revealed to be behind the deaths. Their love of horror movies having fed Billy's desire for revenge against Sidney's mother for having an affair with his father. The shocking reveal only arrives after several twists, but in hindsight, the clues were there all along. Early in the film, our main characters assemble outside their high school to discuss the crimes. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice the thick, black military-style boots worn by both Billy and Stu match those worn by Ghostface during his numerous blood-soaked escapades. Costume designer Cynthia Bergstrom chose the boots for a specific reason. She told Footwear News, "We wanted the boots just to be really nondescript. Could a woman wear those boots? I remember when I was seeking the boots, it was important that they also came in women's sizes." As for the scene where Billy and Stu wear the boots in plain sight, Bergstrom explained that it was meant to be like a red herring, to throw audiences off. In terms of killer modern horror, no film comes close to delivering edge-of-your-seat thrills like Jordan Peele's Get Out. Part scary movie, part dark comedy, part social commentary, this 2017 shocker follows Chris during a trip to meet the family of his girlfriend Rose. Arriving at the ritzy country estate, Chris discovers a horrifying secret. Rose's family uses a diabolical procedure known as the coagula to place white people's minds into black people's bodies. We must wait until the third act to learn the truth, but Peele sets up the big twist with clever details. In one scene, for example, a cop confronts Rose and Chris after they hit a deer with their car. Small talk ensues and the cop asks to see Chris's ID, in order that prompts Rose to take action.
No. he wasn't driving.
I didn't ask who was driving. I asked to see his ID.
Yeah, why? That doesn't make any sense.
Rose implies the cop is racist, forcing him to retreat to his patrol car. As uncomfortable as the incident makes Chris, it cements their bond and assures him, and the audience, that she's on his side in whatever he's up against. We learn, however, that Rose is in on the coagular procedure and plans to hand Chris over to her family. The cop scene plays very differently on a second watch. She wasn't standing up for her boyfriend, but going out of her way to prevent a paper trail for authorities to follow once he goes missing. David Fincher's diabolically twisted thriller 7, about a pair of detectives on a quest to bring down a killer known as John Doe, remains one of the most gripping films ever produced, right down to its shocking conclusion. In summary, protagonists David Mills and William Somerset apprehend John Doe after he willingly walks into a police station. The trio heads out to find his latest victim, hoping to end the madness. Instead, they get much more than expected when a box arrives.
What's in the box?
Not until you give me the
What's
gun.
in the box?
That contains the head of Mills' wife. Nothing prepares the viewer for this moment, as Mills' domestic life lingers on the periphery and has very little to do with the overarching narrative. Until John Doe's devastating final move. As it turns out, that old sly dog Fincher has been preparing audiences for the big reveal all along, particularly with a few shots of pictures in the book Somerset reads in the library. Specifically, there's a pair of images showing decapitated bodies. Also, when Mills shoots John Doe, a single frame of Paltrow's face fills the screen, presumably flashing through his mind when he pulls the trigger.